let me introduce the organization behind this, criticalskills.net. As you know, as we all know, knowledge and skills drive performance, and performance drives success. At criticalskills.net, our belief and our mission is that everyone should have that opportunity to acquire the skills and the knowledge for success and performance in considering today's environment. We do this by providing, giving access, affordable access, I should say, to career professionals, to it is for success in whatever endeavor, career or business. We have just about 5 buckets of this intervention. We have programs in project management, digital skills training, project for soft skills. The hard skills can't really work without the soft skills. They are complemented. So we have a lot of programs for soft skills generally, just as we also have programs for soft skills customized or specifically for digital and technical professionals. At some points, we will show you where all this comes from. Let's get into project management straight. We say that project management is the application of knowledge, skills, tools, and techniques to specific endeavor, temporary endeavor to produce desired outcomes. Now, in terms of value delivery, projects have some kind of framework for value delivery. The first level of value delivery is what we call deliverables. So we sign project contracts and we say, you need to deliver this project at this scope, at this cost, at this time, and we sign off on it. And if we can do that, if we meet those variables, maybe under budget, maybe before time, we say, oh, that was awesome. But actually, that is just the beginning of value delivery. And because after project handover, project commissioning, then the project will need to be put to use. That is where we begin to see test for value, actually. And then the outcome of that project becomes necessary. The benefits, whether there are, becomes necessary. And where there are no benefits, we can talk about it. So let's give some software. We have a project to build a software for take 1,000 students. We should have features for student registration, features for students, community chatting and stuff like that, perhaps teacher-student interaction. We list all this out and we call them deliverables, put an amount to it, put a time to it, and when we do that and it works, we say we have delivered. Agreed. But think of what would be the outcome. The software is put out there. There are few people, few students who are using it for whatever reason. And because of that, it is not gaining the traction that was required. The stakeholders, maybe the company, the sponsors, stakeholders are not benefiting. Perhaps the students are not benefiting. So at that point, we say this project is not delivering value as expected, perhaps not even any value at all, perhaps even negative value, because it could be causing frustration to those who are using it. Take another example. Think of an airport, for example. You build an airport, brand new, with all the modern features, and now the airlines are not going there, the aircrafts are not using it. So even though the deliverables for that airport were met until the intended use is happening, we say this project is not delivering value. And remember that the topic for this is how we can deliver value in complex and uncertain environments using agile methodology. So going and moving ahead now, we now find that the traditional definition of project success, where we talk about time, cost, scope, and stuff, it's not really enough until that project begins to deliver the required outcomes for the stakeholders. Is it achieving the project benefits? Is it meeting financial measures? Is it meeting non-financial measures, environmental requirements, for example. Is it really moving the organization forward, or this project is causing a lot of cog in the wheel of the organization's progress? All of that becomes an issue. Are the customers and the stakeholders satisfied? Are they adopting the project? So when we talk of value, we are looking beyond time, cost, and stuff. And now by the time you begin to understand, you can put this in the context of how projects actually are delivered, is that it comes in, happens in environments. So there are internal environments, there are external environments, there are even the interaction of the project components and project elements, all of this coming together to determine what value means. So in a typical project, you will find that there are really so many parts to the uncertainty. So a cobweb of dynamism, one direction or against other direction, creating uncertainty, creating complexities for project delivery. And that is why we begin to look at projects from two different perspectives. The perspective of the degree of change, say, in the scope of the project. Is this project change? Or also in terms of frequency of delivery, are we waiting to the end of the project to deliver one artifact? When I say artifact, that is the whatever that project. It could be a report, it could be a building, it could be a bridge, it could be a software, one artifact at the end of the project. Or we are delivering in series. Maybe from the first month, we are delivering some components and the client is signing off on it until the end. So depending on the frequency of delivery, either multiple deliveries or single delivery, and also depending on the degree of change to the project requirements, scope, budget, and stuff like that, we can have different approaches to project management. The most popular one is where we see here, frequency of delivery is low and degree of change is low. Think of a building. We want to build a bungalow, 6-bedroom bungalow. It's defined from the beginning. It's going to have this type of roofing. It's going to have this type of fittings. All of that requirements are fixed at the beginning. So degree of change is low. And then, of course, we are saying when the house is ready, then we know you are done. So single delivery. And that single delivery, therefore, a lot of things about the project can be predicted. And so we call that predictive project management. On the other hand, if they have to be series of deliveries, software, for example, or some projects. When we're in school, when we do projects, you think about projects in school, your supervisor will say, go and write chapter 1 and bring it, and he signs off on it. And when he signs off on it, you are even very happy, especially if you can get to chapter 3, and then it means that your methods or whatever are ready. You are so happy, you are going to the field. That is multiple deliveries. If a project requires multiple deliveries, then you are going to be doing it incrementally until the last delivery, then the project is complete. Just like I said, when you are doing your research in school, until you get to your chapter 5 or 6, then you say, oh, wow, I finished my project. Or on the other hand, we are doing one section. I'm going to the scope change now. You have to do one section, agree it, perfect it, then we say, okay, it is ready. So actually we have two axes each way, predictive and agile. And then we have incremental and iterative. And again, in the next slide, I'm going to explain this a little bit more. Each of these depends on the interaction of the degree of change in the scope, the requirements of, and the degree of or frequency rather of deliveries for the project to be completed, where both of them predictive project management approach will fit it. Where both of them are high, then we are saying that, look, we need to be very agile about it. Somewhere in between, we talk about incremental and iterative, and that is showing all of these are anchored on the fact that uncertainties and complexities will determine which is the best approach for any project to be successfully delivered. So let's use this schematic. Let's use this schematic to explain each of these. The first one there is predictive. The predictive or plan-driven approach to project management, as you may see from sorry, let me take one. As you may see from this one, is going straight to deliver once at the end, just one delivery. And we call that predictive. Why? Because from the inception, from planning, the scope is setting, the delivery requirement is setting, and so we can go sequentially and to deliver that project. Think of a construction of a building, construction of a bridge or a road, and similar projects. They are predictive approach from a project management perspective works best. Now, however, look at how iterative works. The same process of analyze, design, build, which is like the project life cycle. Here, after analysis, we are saying that we analyze, we design, then we prototype, agree that prototype, then build it, test it, refine it, agree it before we get to delivery. So iteratively, you are progressively, reaching the final delivery of that project. But because of certain complexities, you don't want to rush until the project is finished, and then you come back and say, this is your project. And then the client says, this is not what I had in mind. You talk about a big contract, he had to sew some T-shirt for a company, maybe for a program. And when they were delivered, they were sewn, neatly sewn and everything, but the client rejected the consignment because the client, according to the story, said that the quality of the textile, that was used was very low quality, and that's not what he wanted. So think about that. This tailoring outfit did a couple of these, sent it to the client approved both design, both texture of material. He would not have had that lot. I understand it was a major loss for the company because it was quite a big consignment. So iterative approach to project management is to minimize or eliminate those last minute uncertainties, either on the project manager side or the stakeholder, the sponsor side. So because of that, you do one stage, refine it, agree it, and then you move forward to the next stage. The same project, one delivery. As against incremental, for incremental, you find that each of the whole project is completed one at a time. So we are releasing a shippable product, a finished product, but it's a component of the whole project at each time. So again, think of say a website. Website will have so many features. We have the registration page, we have the home page and stuff like that. Now, because of perhaps it's a very large website and so many things are involved, back end, front end, and because of that, the designer, the website developers say, look, we need to approach this incrementally. When we are done with the front end, or when we are done with the registration page, we need to share this with the client. Let's agree with that before we move forward to go and do maybe product page catalog, and then he agrees it, we refine it. So you are delivering components of the website incrementally. At the end, everything makes up the whole website. Again, this is to minimize last-minute changes, minimize misunderstandings, and all of those things, so that the project will be delivered and all parties are satisfied. Remember, we said that uncertainties and complexities, changes to scope, changes to requirements, creates this dynamism. Where there are very low changes in all of these dimensions, we say it is a sequential, plan-driven approach can work. Where that is not the case, then we are talking about iterative approach, incremental approach, agile approach. As a matter of fact, iterative and incremental, they are some kind of agile method also, but we are saying this is a very high level of uncertainty. And so we need to be agile. Agile is an English word we all know, being adaptive, being responsive, on the go. So you find that the same life cycle for project management in the case of agile is different. We do just like the incremental, you do one part and that project is delivered. You want the customer's feedback. There are so many ways. This is about hybrid approach. You combine some predictive, combine some iterative, some agile, and then you are like mixing different approaches. Some part of the project you are working with agile. When everything is understood, you can now work in a more planned and predictive structure or approach. And so overall, we are saying that there are different ways that projects can be approached, ranging from plan-driven to change-driven, ranging from predictive to agile, and even in between where we talk of a hybrid. So the just a few slides, 1 or 2 minutes on the hybrid or plan-driven approach. That is where project management started from. It was traditional. That's how everybody has always been building it. We even call it waterfall because it's sequential, like we showed earlier, from one stage to another. You are building a house, you did the foundation, you do the flooring or whatever like that, the walls, and then roofing and finishing. It's sequential, so we call that waterfall approach. If you see what we call the Gantt chart, the schedule, Gantt chart designs, you see them like dropping from one level to another, we call it waterfall. Also, it's predictive because the scope is known upfront, so we can actually know what stage we are going to, what to expect, when we finish, and the rest of them. We call that agile. So this is an example of a house building using plan-driven approach. You design the architecture and the rest of them. We do all the construction, we bring in the fittings, we bring in the furnishings, the furnishings, the house is delivered. This is sequential, this is predictive, this is planned. The scope is known from the beginning, and everybody knows what to expect at each stage. However, it doesn't always work like that. Well, these are the tools for plan-driven management. We call them process groups and knowledge areas. People who are doing PMI, you need to understand this. If you are doing PMI, PMI certification, these are some of the things we talk about more deeply for PMI preparation classes. Talk about agile. Project management in dynamic environments. I've been talking about that already. Frequency of change, degree of change. So just think of golf balls, golfing. You know that they have different clubs for different positions of play, and that is being adaptive, not one size fits all. Agile is adaptive project management, not one approach fits all. So Agile actually started in the software industry, and there's quite a lot of robust history behind it, which we will not talk about now. But the Agile Manifesto says that there are better ways of developing software, by doing it and helping others to do it. And these are the things they hold dear: values. We value individual interactions over processes and tools. So traditional project management was really about processes and tools. If you Agile philosophy, Agile values says we value individual interactions, the people aspect of project management over processes and tools. We value a working software over comprehensive documentation, technicalities. Is the software working? Is the piece of item project working? We are concerned about that. That's even where you find that we can talk about incremental delivery. You know, we value customer collaboration over contract negotiation. I mean, at the end of the day, if the customer is not satisfied, the stakeholder, then it doesn't matter if scope and budget and everything was correct. That we talked about that before. And so we value customer engagement. We want to work with the customer to bring out a project that we meet the intended purposes and deliver value. We value responding to change over following a plan. I'm sure you know what this means. Being adaptive to this world, we really be more focused on responding to change than following a plan that can become what's the word? Invalid or not valid by the next period, maybe tomorrow, maybe next month. Mike Tyson said, everybody has a plan until your opponent throws the first punch, and then you go tactical. So Agile is saying we value this responsiveness to changing conditions, changing customer requirements, changing project environments over following a plan that we drew up when we did the initial project planning.